Hello gamers, this is going to be a walkthrough of how to do the Tails 2 fight with a strategy that I've labbed today. Let's just watch it through to start with. So in this video I get a 14.37, and I'm not sure what frame perfect is, but I know that my gold split, which is a very good time, is a 14.24. So this isn't quite, perfect, but it's pretty close. It's like the next best thing. Any strat that you can get a 14.3 in is very good. This is very usable at a top level. And the reason I've been looking for a new strategy is I've always been quite inconsistent with this boss, and the strategy I had was quite inconsistent, so I was looking to remove that inconsistency. And the main reason I've not done that before is because I didn't think I could maintain a fast strategy. I thought I'd be, having to get a high 14 or something. But with this, obviously I can get a 14.3, and I'd snap your hand off for a 14.3, and around that's an incredible time. And this is a consistent strategy. So yeah, let's get into it. So there's 4 hits. Actually, I'll just mention something. So if you accidentally do a propeller punch, that's 1/3 of a hit. So you need 12 propeller punches to kill Tails. And if you ever propeller punch, it's effectively that you've done nothing unless you then propeller punch a further 2 times. It's very stupid. Whereas charge shots and bullets both are like, one whole shot, one whole hit. So you only need 4 of those. Okay, and so for the first hit, we're going to be using the principle that your opponent does not move until you shoot. Obviously, if you just wait there for like an amount of time, it's like 5 seconds or something, then they'll just move without you shooting. But you can just move around, you can jump and hover, whatever. Tails will not move until you shoot, or until that amount of time has passed, whatever it is. And we're going to do that by running right up to Tails so that we can shoot Tails and he has nowhere to go. He'll run to the right. As soon as you shoot, he will run to the right 100% of the time. And you'll shoot so close that he can't move out of the way. And just actually me saying about that, that's an interesting point. In this fight, Tails actually has very aggressive AI, and he can go off script. I'm honestly unsure if there's room for Tails to go off script in this strategy. Definitely in what I used to do, he could, but I've only started doing this today, so I've not done it that much. But I never saw Tails go anything close to off script, which is a bonus if that is true. So this first hit, you start off by, the entirety of it is holding forward, and then you shoot. And see this line on the floor? If you shoot before the back of Eggman's right foot goes over it, then your shot will miss. You need to be past the line. A good thing to aim for is here. Because if you think like draw the line, you'll end up about there, so you'll end up decently ahead of it. Aim for that, or like maybe just before it. Because if you aim for that, you're probably going to miss it every now and then. So that's the first thing I do. Okay, that maybe actually just frame dropped a little. There we go. You can't really see the line's like there, so you can't see it. You can't literally see it when you shoot, but it's not hard. It's not a hard visual cue at all. Like, it turns out you can't actually see it when you take the shot, but that's fine. This is news to me. And there's a couple important things here. This fight is actually quite technical for this strategy. There's a lot to it. You don't want to just do a tap hit. You want to keep it held for a moment, because you will lock on to Tails. If you shoot for 1 frame, even of 1 frame, you will lock on to Tails. And this is actually something that doesn't happen if you restart the fight. I'm not sure what the reasoning is, but if you restart this fight and you shoot at about this time, and you just press B incredibly quickly for just 1 or 2 frames, you will not lock onto Tails. Your laser will come out, or maybe it won't, and it won't lock onto Tails. So bear that in mind for if you're practicing. But on first load, it will always lock on first frame. The lock on is unavoidable. And so, if you were to just let go of B instantly, do a 1 frame shot, then Tails will get hit by the bullet, he'll move back, and then the charge shot will come out and it will miss Tails. And that's a really important thing in this fight. Your charge shots need to hit Tails. Whether he is invincible or not, they need to hit Tails. Because if they don't, then this target will stay on Tails for a very long time. Probably 5 seconds or something ridiculous. And it just screws up your whole fight. It means that the only option to you is bullets. It completely removes your ability to do charge shots. And in this fight, as you'll see, we'll be having one of our hits be a charge shot, and the other will be bullet. The other 3 will be bullets. Okay, so you don't need to hold it for much longer than a frame. Like, you know, play around with it yourself. You really, really do not need to hold it for very long at all. But just, you can't just do a tap. That's the bottom line, you can't do a tap. And so just bear that in mind. You do have to have like 2 brains going at the same time, just bear that in mind. And then you need to double back on yourself so that Eggman spins and get ready to be in position for the next hit. I'll just show that again. So, you can't see where I am because well, this is silly. Thank you, developers. Okay, that's a little better. So this is then about where I position Eggman afterwards. Tails will be shooting a bunch of bullets at you. You need to jump and hover over them, move over to the side, and land yourself here. Just real quick, I'm actually going to just show the charge shot landing that I previously talked about. So that charge shot lands then, and so he becomes charge shottable very soon afterwards, like after doing your first shot. If you were to just do a tap jump there, that charge shot would miss. It would just go off into the distance. Okay, and so you saw Tails get hit then, the second hit. It's very fast. This whole introduction is very fast. From gaining control of Tails to like Tails getting ready to shoot the rocket at you, it goes very quickly. So it's quite a technical piece of movement you have to do to get from where you were here shooting Tails, double back, jump, hover over the bullets, land and shoot. Because you have to get in a good position here, and you have to be facing Tails. And as soon as Tails' invincibility wears off, he's going to start running to the right again. So you really want to be as optimal as you can. Just because, obviously, he's in position. If you shoot him as soon as he becomes vulnerable again, then that means you need to just shoot directly where he is. And if you're thinking, oh, well, I'm actually a bit bad at the timing, well, that means you've got a whole other issue. You need to now figure out where he's going to be for the next hit and then aim and shoot accordingly. So this is actually quite difficult. I've personally always had a second hit of this description in all of my strategies, so I'm quite practiced at this. But so that this might take a lot of getting used to for someone who's not done it before. So yeah, you saw the bullets coming then, that's what you've got to jump over. Feel free to just, you know, figure out that the floor hurts and such, you know, just literally play poorly. Don't jump and hover at all, maybe jump and don't hover, maybe jump and then hover when you're really close to the ground. You'll get hit by the bullets, and then you know what you need to jump over. It's really not that high, but obviously it's as high as Tails' cannon. It was definitely harder for me to do this while having to hold B for a little bit, but that's probably just because it was new for me. Definitely look at how long I'm holding B, by the way. Not very long. So it's not a tap, but it's not very long. It's not a hold, really. It's just a lazy tap. And yeah, this second hit, you just have to practice it. Jump over the bullets, because there is one particular bullet. I don't know if I can get it on camera very well. Oh, it's like directly inside Eggman there. It was the last bullet that Tails shot. It's like behind Eggman's model right now. That's the main one you've got to jump over. Okay? Get over that and land behind it. There. Because like you're completely to the right side of this lot of bullets, where this is the only way Tails ever shoots. Like all but one of his bullets are just in this path. So just get over there, just jump over this line, and make sure you land after that first bullet has passed. Okay, I did that excellently. And yeah, you then want to just land and aim at Tails and shoot. So as you can see, I'm actually neutral sticking. I'm not like I neutral stick as I hold B actually. Can you see the timing? I neutral stick and hold B at the same time. Well, it's more a neutral stick and then a moment later I press B. It's like neutral stick and then a frame later or something I press B. That's just because obviously Eggman when he runs, his cannon bobs up and down. You're quite close to Tails here, so your shot will generally hit him. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I will neutral stick just so that Eggman isn't like as stable, basically. You've got to have Eggman be stable. Because he is facing up, he isn't really bobbing. Like you could see it then in his model, his animation, he wasn't really bobbing. Like when you get on the ground, you don't really move much. You like get on the ground, turn to face Tails, and shoot. You don't want to run, land on the ground, turn to face Tails, shoot, and you want to do it pretty quickly because Tails, if you aren't very quick, then Tails will become vulnerable and he'll start running to the right. And so you'll think, oh, maybe I need to aim a bit to the right. Well, no, you could just go faster and then aim straight at him. And that's the way to be very fast as well. Maybe it is easier for you to shoot this way or something. I think definitely for me, I could find myself in runs aiming a little bit this way. And so just think, okay, so if I'm slow or if I'm fast, I'll still hit him. Because this is like kind of still will hit Tails, but then he'll run to the right if I'm slow, and then that will also hit Tails. Okay, and so there is another consideration actually for this. This shot also does not want to be a tap. This wants to be a hold, and it's a full hold. Because Tails will start shooting bullets at you once you've landed. And your shot that hit him, you will lock on to Tails, but you don't want to lock on to Tails. But if you get hit while you're locking onto something, all of your lock-ons cancel. And so you shoot Tails, and you keep B held, and you wait for Tails to hit you, and then you can release B. So that you can see I was locking onto Tails just for a moment. It's just for a moment. But if you just do a tap, then the charge shot will come out. So you just need to hold it just for a moment, just a few frames if anything, and then Tails will hit you and you can let go. Yeah, you can see as soon as you land, Tails starts shooting towards you rather than over here. And it's that first shot that hits you, then you are allowed to let go of B because you are no longer locking onto Tails. And so then the next part of the fight, that's really it. That's like a really tough part of the fight, and then you get a breather. You get a moment to breathe because obviously you have been hit. You've been hit, so you can't move for a second or whatever it is. You need to be mashing B to lock onto tails. The third hit is going to be the charge shot, and you're in a really good position right where I am. You want to just lock on and get the charge shot. That if you do it correctly, you'll get it out just before the cutscene starts. It is definitely possible that you can hit the charge shot and it ends up hitting Tails while he's still invincible. And if so, that just means that you basically were too close. If you were too close, then the charge shot would reach Tails while he's still invincible. So I'm actually in pretty much the perfect position for this. So you never want to be closer than I am here. You see, I do get pretty close. Like I land, move towards Tails, shoot, and then I get shot. And you end up pretty close to Tails at a maximum. You never want to be closer than that. And so yeah, you see me mashing B so that I can lock onto Tails as soon as possible. You can, if you fail to lock onto Tails before the cutscene, just keep mashing and then you'll lock on afterwards instead. That's totally fine, that still works. But then you lock onto Tails and it will hit him and he will be vulnerable for very few frames before getting hit. That's very good. And then you make your way over to the right, so you can do your fourth hit at your own leisure. If you hit Tails at the right time for this third hit, then Tails will do this giant laser beam over there. If he's doing it over there, it's correct. If you hit him at the wrong time, then maybe he won't do the attack at all. Maybe he will do it and will aim it at you. I don't think it's very difficult to get this right, but if you do it correctly, then he will shoot over here like this. And so that's why you run over here, so you can move out of the way of it. And then the final hit, you just stand next to him and shoot him at your own leisure. So you can mash B here if you want to, just so that you can guarantee the W. But in this example, I wait and I shoot him as soon as his invincibility frames wear off so that I can try and get a perfect time. And I got a very good time. I got 14.37. You could probably do a few frames better than this, but I'm not expecting for me to get anything better than this. Obviously, I said I have a 14.24 with a different strategy. Maybe you can get that with this strategy. I wouldn't doubt it, but you'd probably need to be perfect. So yeah, it's considering you only do your first shot at 8 seconds, it really is an action-packed 6 seconds that follows this. And but it's really the most action-packed part is here after the first hit, where you jump over there and shoot him. If you're in this position now where both of you have got hit and Tails is saying, "Oh, you're in for it now," then that's perfect. That's you can smile. You've probably done it. You're probably in the clear. Just bash B, and so you can get that charge shot, and then run over to the side. He'll get hit, and then you do the last hit. And then I suppose hope that you weren't too close, so that the charge shot didn't do anything. Hopefully you are far enough away that the charge shot will hit Tails while he is vulnerable rather than invincible. And then the fourth hit is incredibly easy. Just don't be so close that you propeller punch him. That's the only consideration. And then, I suppose, of course, make sure you're aiming at him. Obviously, the cannon is on the right for Eggman. Make sure you're aiming at him. Yeah, you can see how fast I'm mashing then. It's urgent. And then yeah, just you've got a lot of time. Just move far away. Aim directly at him, just take your time. You can start mashing if you want, or you can just press B once and it's easy. It's the only easy hit. Because obviously this first hit, you've got to make sure that you keep B held for a little bit so that the lock-on will hit Tails. And then the second hit is tough because you have to turn back around, jump over the trail of bullets. You have to aim towards Tails, shoot him, and you have one shot at shooting him essentially, because you are going to get hit. As soon as your bullet leaves you, Tails will hit you. So you want to both get hit. And then mash B, so as soon as you can lock onto him, run around his laser, and hit him for the easy 4th hit. And you should be able to get a 14 every time with this. Definitely needs practice, and you know, as I said, this fight does operate slightly differently before a restart and like first load and after restart, but I think that's just to do with the laser. So you can probably practice this fight after restart. You just have to remember that you can't just tap B and the lock-on will not happen. You have to prepare for the lock-on to happen, so you have to then prepare to hold B for a little bit so that the lock-on will hit Tails rather than go past him. This is all for the first hit. Other than that, you can restart. You can definitely find a save file in the Sonic Adventure 2 Discord server, well, the speedrunning Discord server. There's a save file that just starts at Tails 2, because that's what I was using. You can definitely find that if you would rather that. It doesn't take very long at all to exit out and go into it again. I think that's it. I think that's all I have. I don't think there's anything left to say. I'm pretty happy I found this strategy. I'll be using it. Hopefully this can help a few people. Alright, cheers.